He lines up in this afternoon's final against Tim Mayotte. As you can see, they've just come onto court, so let's join our commentary team of Mark Cox, John Barrett and Dan Maskell.
So on this lovely day at Queen's, when it's roughly about 100 degrees at the court side, a marvellous day for tennis, except that the wind today is rather stronger than they've had all week, certainly stronger than yesterday. And yesterday we saw slight signs that it was interfering a bit with their control. But I think they'll be very delighted to be on such a lovely, lovely court just before Wimbledon. So there is Jimmy Connors, twice the Wimbledon champion, three times he's won here in 1972, 1982 and 83. And the last 2 years when he won here, he beat McEnroe. Been playing so very well indeed, and hasn't dropped a set, and except, as he himself says, except for his service, which he's a little concerned about here and there, not throwing the ball high enough, he feels he's playing really very well indeed. And talking to him the other night, I thought that he looked just a little bit finely drawn just before the championship. He assured me that he came here 4 pounds above his playing weight in order to be quite strong for Wimbledon. So he's a very happy man indeed. And he's playing against a man who he has beaten 6 times and lost twice. Tim Mayotte, 6'3", 12 stone 12, very big man, who has lost a couple of sets this week in his 5 matches. He played quite magnificently yesterday when he beat Stefan Edberg, the Swedish boy on grass, who was seeded number 3 here. Played quite brilliantly. He himself is seeded number 8. He's number 20 at the moment in the world ranking. And in the opinion of most people, he is certainly the best grass court player behind McEnroe and Connors of the Americans. But there are many people today who feel that he's going to disprove that situation because he has been playing so well, and he could well finish up as the winner here today. And in the royal box, a royal occasion, we have Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Gloucester, who's a very keen player indeed, and His Majesty King Constantine of the Hellenes, and all sorts of distinguished people up there. And so for Queen, celebrating its 100th year since it was built in 1886, it really is a royal day in every sense of the word. John Barrett with me. I think he might tell us how they got here. There are 5 matches.
Well, we're looking at Tim Mayotte, who's had a pretty good week here. He beat compatriot Bill Scanlon in the first round, Mark Woodford of Australia in the second, and then David Pate, another American,
ladies and
in
gentlemen,
the third, Boris Becker, and what a marvellous match that was. Despite being match point down, he won that one in the quarterfinals, and Stefan Edberg of Sweden quite majestically yesterday. And Jimmy Connors' progress. And as you see, he hasn't dropped a set at all in beating Michael Schappers of the Netherlands, Peter Fleming of the United States, Guy Forget of France, Paul Annacone of the United States, and Robert Seguso, the #1 doubles player in the world on the computer at the end of 1985, all in straight sets. And you have to say that apart from being just a little bit slower to getting to the ball, whenever he does get a chance to get his racket on the ball, he is playing quite beautifully and timing it sweetly. And a beautiful day for these keen tennis fans, 5,200 of them crammed around this centre court in the enlarged stands, more than they've ever had at Queen's. They've had record crowds the entire week.
Well,
and how much they're looking forward, as we are, to this occasion. And our umpire today, one of the 2 professional umpires on the circuit now employed by the Men's International Professional Tennis Council, Richard Kaufman of Seattle in Washington. The other, incidentally, is Jeremy Shales from Great Britain.
I think it's interesting, John, that Connors, having said to all and sundry that he's pretty fit and pretty well and only the service is worrying him a little bit, his opponent said quite definitely, I include myself among a group of players, about 8 to 10 of us, who could win Wimbledon this year. So a fairly confident Tim Mayotte.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, he's been a semi-finalist, a quarter-finalist. He has, I think, shown us already this week that he's almost back to where he was in January, when Many people believe he might have won that tournament in Philadelphia where he beat Jimmy Connors and hurt himself
Connors to serve,
when he
first
was
set.
just at the end of his match against Noah, which put him out of the game until March. But he's back now and playing really well. Connors to open this final.
Love 15.
So first blood to the 25-year-old American, Tim Mayotte.
All.
Well, I can think of nothing that will please Connors more than that in the second service of the match, second point of the match, delivering this.
Ah. 30-15.
Well, as Connors wins that point, to go to 40-15, there really is a very strong wind indeed blowing right across the court. And it's blowing across into the umpire's chair.
Game Connors, first game.
I think it's important whenever you're playing a best of 3 sets match, which this is, to get off to a good quick start, and Jimmy Connors started pretty well there. I suppose you'd have to say that the most vulnerable part of his game is the serve, and if it's going well, as with so many players, everything else seems to be going well, and if it's not, well, he can have problems. But certainly that first game suggests to me that he's feeling pretty confident and pretty pleased with everything about his life at the moment. Tim Mayotte, who's here looking forward enormously to the chance of proving his worth on the faster surfaces. He didn't play in the French Championships. He had that long layoff that I spoke of that followed Philadelphia, came back at Fort Myers in Florida, and this is only his 4th Grand Prix tournament since. He did play at Beckenham, which was his first outing on grass last week, but lost in the first round there to Steve Shaw, where he slightly strained a muscle in his left thigh, and you'll see it's strapped. Nothing serious, merely a precautionary strapping. Love one.
Oh. Oh. 15 love. All.
Now the wind we've already said is pretty strong, and it does tend to affect the servers, particularly the tall men who throw the ball high. And it may well be that we shall see a double fault or two from Tim Mayotte, and possibly from from Connors. Oh no. This, I think, as we saw there, this is going to be very much a battle between the receiver and the server. Connor's one of the greatest returners of the service in the game.
All.
Well, you'll see here the serve isn't really as deep as it should have been, and Connors is a master at that. Mayotte now will be thinking of keeping the ball very deep to him.
Deuce. Advantage Mayotte.
Nice combination there of power and accuracy, hitting that sideline with that angled service. Oh, that's a brilliant return.
Deuce.
Well, Connor certainly trapped his man there with that early ball return, swinging forehand drive.
Advantage Connors.
So that really fiercely hit two-handed backhand gives Connors his second break point.
Deuce.
Deuce. Oh.
Advantage Mayotte.
Well, we're used to seeing Connors hit the ball fiercely, but today, as early as this, only the second game in the match, really going for the backhand. Perhaps I thought unnecessarily then.
Game Mayotte. One game all.
So a chance missed there by Connors. A couple of break points. Just waiting for the balls.
One of the ball girls has taken a little faint and has had to leave the court, and she's going to be replaced. Jimmy Connors is a little bit concerned about her well-being.
It's a pity. The ball girls come from the Coloma Convent School at Croydon, and they and one or two other schools have been represented here with the ball girls. They've done a truly lovely job this week here. 1-1.
Second serve. Love 15.
Well, if you're prepared to serve to the forehand side, you do take the risk of that sort of thing happening. Mind you, having said that, the timing has to be absolutely immaculate to hit it as fast and low over the net as Mayotte did. Love 15.
Just long.
Good call. Connors querying the call, but it was a good call, no doubt about it.
Ah. 15 all. $30-15.
From the moment that Mayotte took that service return really early and forced a defensive foul volley from Connors to the time he made his forehand winner into the corner, that was really great play. Really sharp. 1 game all, 30 all.
$30-40. Deuce.
And this is the sort of thing you
Advantage
see
Mayotte.
when the players are both at full stretch. That return was marvellously low and accurate, really. Connors improvising with a drive volley from the baseline and flicking a half volley across the court there. And Connors forcing Mayotte into an eventual error on the last point of the rally. But what a lovely rally it was.
So break point for the second time for Mayotte.
Mayotte leads 2-1.
Well, there really was a rally of fantastic speed in the middle of that game. It really was unbelievable, John. Of course, hot day, the ball's flying, the court very fast.
It is fast, isn't it? The conditions today as fast as you'll probably ever want to see them. And it's producing the most marvellous, inspirational play from both of them. They're both having to reach out and make shots at full stretch. Never an easy thing to do. So Jimmy Connors, the first to suffer a loss of serve. And he's really being pressed by Mayotte's ability to take the ball and come in against the Connors serve. And Connors himself may have to come in a little bit more behind his serve, something he's been doing all this week. Let's have another look at that point. See if I can get the end of it right this time. Connors having to stretch really wide and find a little flicked half volley, and Mayotte did very, very well to reach that, let alone control it so well. And the Connors ball deep to the baseline, just too long. Well, that'll be very good news for the camp supporting Tim Mayotte, who are really,
quickly, please. Thank you.
really here in strength.
Well, John, of course, Mayotte has played 5 times here at Queen's in this event, and he's gone further today than ever to reach the final 3 times, 83, 84 and 85. He was in the 4th round, that's the quarter-final here. Lost to Blendl, lost to Connors, and then Paul McNamee of Australia last year. So he's a man very used to this big court here.
2-1.
Love. $15.
15 all.
$15-30. $15-40.
And that could be a very expensive second level fort. It gives Connors 2 break points.
$30-40. Deuce.
Just the sort of net covering that Mayotte played there that he did against Becker when Becker had a match point against him in the tiebreak of the second set. He covered the net beautifully then, got his nose right down, looked right along the barrel of the racket, played a beautiful volley. That was just such a shot then. Juice?
Advantage Mayotte. Game Mayotte. Mayotte leads 3-1.
So for the second time in the match, Connors has had 2 break points in each of his opponent's service games and has failed to make them.
Love 15.
Yes, just
15 all.
He really does risk a lot, Mayotte, to get the ball early, using almost a second his other hand to firm up the racket for the return there. Oh. Well, here's one of the finest
15,
smashes
30.
I've seen for years. Just behind the service line, and the tall man gets well off the ground and angles the ball quite perfectly.
All.
Rather a loose return there. That was a comparatively easy serve.
Ball's down. How many we got?
They seem to have temporarily lost all the tennis balls.
On the
Just
left.
one at this end I can see. Oh, there's one out there, just recovered. They'll have 4 out in play at once, normally.
It's really the first time this week that the ball girls have dithered a bit. Serve.
40-30. Game Connors. Mayotte leads 3-2.
The first set of this best of 3 sets final. Mark Cox with us today, as he usually is on these occasions. You know, Mark, it occurs to me that Team New England will be pretty pleased about that scoreline at the moment.
Yes, of course, Team New England is Tim Mayotte's cohorts. His coach on the left of the picture there, Bill Drake, and in the middle with the blue cap, Bob Green, and Bud Schultz on the right of the picture. Bob Green and, yes, it's Todd Nelson, the trainer for the Tennis Players Association, tending to Jimmy Connors' injury, which he sustained yesterday.
Had treatment for that last night on the table, Jimmy. He strained it yesterday in his semi-final. He said afterwards, talking to him, that it wasn't anything serious, but he's feeling it a bit.
Time.
Well, he certainly was hobbling a little as he came to the net there, John.
Seats quickly, please.
But the Team New England, really, the trio there have helped Tim Mayotte immensely over the last few months. They work very, very hard physically, doing a lot of training on-court drills, figuring that Tim Mayotte's major weakness has been lack of mobility. And today, as we've seen, he's very, very quick around the court, hustling Connors at every opportunity, getting into the net, and it's paying off very much indeed. But it's Mayotte now to serve, 3-2, and of course he has the service break.
Love. 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 Game, Mayotte. Mayotte leads 4-2.
Well, now, a moment ago, you saw Connors having a little treatment for his groin. He fell 3 times on this court yesterday when the grass was a little greener, but apparently he said it was all right today. He declared that he was all right. 2-4.
First serve. Love. All. 15-30.
First double fault from Connors. I say he doesn't look a very happy man at the far end of the court. $15.30.
All.
2-4, 30-all, first set. Lovely play.
$40-30.
Well, Connors doesn't often come in behind his serve, but when he does, he times it very usefully. I'm sure his opponent wasn't really expecting Connors to come in behind that.
Deuce.
Okay.
So Jimmy Connors once again coming in
Advantage
behind
Connors.
his serve. He was saying the other day that this is a tactic that he has been using more than usual this week. Proved effective again there, so he's won the 2 points in this game when he's chosen to come in. Partly, of course, to save that leg, which I'm sure is troubling him.
Rather late call, which has disturbed both players a little.
Out. Game Connors. Mayotte leads 4-3.
Well, Connors got out of that game there. He didn't suffer a break point, but he didn't really look a very happy man and served a couple of doubles. And if he has got a touch of this groin strain, then he's bound to feel it, I think, on his serve as he puts all the weight on the leg. Wouldn't you think, John?
Yes, only he knows how much it's hurting and how serious it is. With Wimbledon just a week away, he won't want to aggravate a potentially inhibiting injury. If it's that serious, he must seriously be considering now whether he should continue. On the other hand, if it is just a minor strain, as he promised us yesterday it was, then I'm sure he'll continue. He's one of the gutsiest fighters I can ever remember seeing on a tennis court. And one thinks of the match that he played against Lendl in the searing heat a couple of years ago at Flushing Meadow, when it was about 112 degrees down on that asphalt court. And yet he mastered the conditions. He had a stomach disorder at the time. He had to leave the court, came back and gutsed it out. That's all you can say about it. I mean, he really is a tremendous fighter.
Well, what, in 1984, 2 years ago, against the same
Seats quickly,
opponent,
please. Ready to
he
play.
played a
Thank you.
tremendous three-set match and gutsed that one out too, 8-6 in the final set. So we shall see.
Yes, if history's going to repeat itself, Jimmy's going to beat Mayotte as he did here in '84, and 2 weeks later the same year at Wimbledon, in 4 sets then. But they now have found the ball that seemed to have been missing somewhere behind the canvas at the back of the courts. Though, is that one of the old ones or one of the new ones? Well, they should have 4 in play, you see. And it's important from fairness point of view that they should all have the same amount of wear. They change after the first 9 and then every 11 games this week. So at Wimbledon, it'll be 7 and 9 as usual. Incidentally, using yellow balls for the first time here, as at Wimbledon in 2 weeks' time. So,
Give you the score once again.
4-3 with a break, Mayotte.
Love.
Yes, it's got to be a better love than that to get over this 6'3" tall man.
Love. First serve. Love.
Been playing Mayotte well, that slice serve out to the forehand, or in the case of Connors, of course, out to his backhand in the right court. That's a brilliant, 2 brilliant shots there.
Well, Connors really
Mayotte
tries all he
leads
knows
5
to
games to
prize
3.
Mayotte away from the net position. This is a very clever little shot, but not quite fast enough. Mayotte has ample time to recover and make the half volley, and Connors in his present state quite unable to chase hard for wide or short balls like that. 3-5.
First serve. Love. Love.
Really trying terribly hard to really take the ball early. Mayotte, he's taking the ball early, of course, but just losing control. He may be overdoing it a bit.
First serve.
Ah!
40-15. Game, Connors, ball change. Mayotte leads 5-4.
Well, Connors won that game to 15, but he doesn't seem to be having that bouncy sort of attitude that he's had all week here, and certainly started the match. So we're just wondering whether he is affected.
He hasn't really been showing any inclination to chase wide or short balls in the last couple of games, and so long as he can get his racket on the ball without having to run, he'll still be in contention. But if Mayotte can keep the rallies going and make him chase, then I think that is probably going to be the end of Mr. Connors. He's already a service breakdown mark.
It's a dilemma, I think, for both players. In fact, for Jimmy Connors, clearly he's got to keep the rallies short. And as you say, John, he doesn't want to have to stretch that injury any more than is necessary. So he's going to be reluctant to chase the wide balls. But at the same time, Tim Mayotte, he's getting a little bit impetuous. He was impetuous on the Connors serve there. And this next game, I think, is a crucial game for both players. Psychologically, certainly. If Mayotte can get this game, take the first set, I think it would be very difficult then for Jimmy Connors to rationalize carrying on. So it's Mayotte with the new balls, 5-4. And he's a chance to take the first set.
Oh.
15 love. First serve. Love.
Well, everything very fine about that net play there. The backhand volley is solid as a rock, and the anticipation first class. It's hard to believe that this man is the world ranking 20 player. Just shows how strong they are in depth in men's tennis.
Love.
So 3 set points.
Game and first set Mayotte, 6-4. Keep your seats, please. Thank you. Second set.
So the first set to Mayotte, 6-4, and really calling the tune all the way once he broke the service in the third game.
It's quite a first set performance there from Tim Mayotte. We'll be recording the second set. You'll miss none of the important action in that Stella Artois final. But it's horses for a while here on Sunday Grandstand. In a few minutes, we've got the big race from France. The first set, 6-4. Jimmy Connors apparently hampered by a muscle strain. But let's see what the second set holds now as we rejoin Dan Maskell.
So just a little bit of a hold-up while the linesman's chair, which is broken, is removed. He sat down on it too heavily. He's going now to stand in the... No, they found a new one for him on the far tram line from the service.
Love 15.
Just out.
Love 30.
And Mayotte now really standing up to any volleying pressure that comes from his opponent. Remarkably well, taking the ball on the rise, not retreating.
Love 40.
So after that very fine return of service, 3 break points in the opening game of this second set.
Game, Mayotte. First game, second set.
Well, Mayotte really timing the ball so well there. Connor's annoyed with himself for losing his serve, coming in more than usual. But he's got a mental problem now because he doesn't know whether he should really strive to run hard after the ball and try to make a match of this, or whether he should nurse that leg. And therefore, he's sort of playing with a slight air of indecision about him. I think he'll be sick of the sight of Tim Mayotte here, because last night they went for dinner, did Team New England. That's Mayotte's pals, Schultz and Green, and his coach, Bill Drake. And who should they find sitting next to them at the table they were eating at in a fashionable West End restaurant than Jimmy Connors. It seemed that fate was destined to put these two together this week, both at the dinner table and here on court at Queen's.
Well, John, rather a different start from the first set when Connors opened the match with a very fine game to 15. Now he's dropped the opening game of the second set to love.
Seats, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
So 1-love to Mayotte in the second set, having won the first 6-4. The first set Connors has lost in this tournament.
Love. Love. Love.
Yes, that's a good winner.
40-15.
And that's stopped the rot. Connors lost 11 points in a row. Great service.
Game Mayotte. Mayotte leads 2 games to love.
Seemed to me there that there was a definite wince of pain from Jimmy as he lunged for that wide backhand. And that is clearly where it is hurting, when he's having to put the weight on his right leg out to his side there. So love 2 in the second set, and he's won just 1 point.
Yes.
$15 love.
Well, once again, with the ball coming to his racket, Jimmy Connors quite capable of hitting the most beautiful shots. It's a good attempt at at an approach behind the serve return, but really too short for perfection. No doubt it's the right tactics, though, by Mayotte to harass Jimmy.
$40 love. $40-15.
Well, obviously a very unhappy man. Remember that, of course, he's just coming back to competitive play after a 10-week suspension, where he certainly played a lot of tennis, but exhibition tennis is a very different affair from the cut and thrust and the blood and stuff of this sort of thing. So it may well be that though he felt he was in really good training for championship tennis, perhaps the 3 falls he had yesterday has shown that he isn't really. And a well-deserved hand from Mayotte. He's played that half volley with Connors all over the place outside the doubles court. So easy to have taken his eye off the ball there, but number 8 seed played it very firmly.
Well, Jimmy Connors does see this short ball from
Mayotte
Mayotte in time to make the run forward. A good rally from the baseline. Mayotte waiting for his chance to come in, as he always does. This time, here is the little drop that he plays. Follows in behind it, but Connors quickly enough moving forward to just touch it past Mayotte, who is flat-footed in the middle of the court. And Dan, there's the trainer again, come to see Connors, and I think he's probably debating about how serious this injury would be if he went on, asking the trainer's advice. And it must be a little bit painful. It seems to us to be the right leg. Billy Gilmore there, the supervisor, has just joined them. And this is most unfortunate for all concerned, for the tournament here, of course, for Connors himself, and for Tim Mayotte, who was playing well enough to have beaten Connors had he been fully fit, which he clearly is not. And I wonder whether the referee, Jimmy Moore, is going to join them. But clearly the debate is whether Connors should continue. He is entitled to an injury timeout if he wants it. The umpire, Richard Kaufman, just keeping an eye on affairs. It looks as if Jimmy has decided to take his injury break, because I think he's over the 90 seconds. I think he's allowed a 4-minute injury break if he wants it. It looks to me...
Code violation, delay of game, warning Mr. Connors. Quiet, please.
That's just applying the rule. If Connors...
Under the rules of the injury timeout, this is the procedure. Thank you.
That's right. Richard Kaufman just explaining that that was no more than the statutory warning, because the 90 seconds had elapsed. Connors now clearly has decided either to retire or to take the break. So Mayotte is going to be informed of the decision. It seems to me as if he's going to retire, I would guess. Yes, it's all over. How very sad for everybody. But in the circumstances, I'm sure it is the only wise thing to have done. 58 minutes almost the match has lasted. And a very disappointed Jimmy Connors will limp his way to the locker room.
Due to an injury, Mr. Connors is retired. Mayotte wins the match 6-4, 2-1, retired.
6-4, 2-1, Mayotte leads. And after 58 minutes of actual play. And Dan, how very sad for this man.
Sad indeed, John. Very sad, of course, this on the eve of Wimbledon, and as you say, for the tournament here and for the crowd, the spectators and everybody. But, you know, yesterday when he was playing and he fell 3 times, one of them where he collapsed really right into the side netting and immediately held his groin. One hates to say it, but we've seen it happen so often before, haven't we? We've seen it at Wimbledon, the time when our friend from Australia ran into the umpire chair, Roy Emerson, and again off court number 1. So very unfortunate, but John, you know, people say, when you say that Connors isn't playing competitive tennis, they say, but he's playing a lot of tennis, you know, exhibition tennis. A different thing entirely. There's no mental strain, there's no real physical strain in exhibition tennis. You run about very happily and lightheartedly and so on, and give a show, but it's a very different thing when you're 33 years of age and you have a break such as Connors has had, 10 weeks of suspension, walking off the court at 5-4 down in the final set in Florida to Lendl when he refused to play on. So altogether a very unfortunate affair.
But Tim Mayotte will be very pleased about the way he has played the first part of this match, which was very much alive and very much a battle of wills. So
the Royal Highness, very keen player herself, a great friend of Queen's Club, and being met there by Clyde Bernstein, the tournament director. And so,
ladies and gentlemen, before Her Royal Highness,
a great day this for Queen's Club, celebrating their 100th anniversary. Well, In your picture, the winner of the title. And so a very lovely scene, this. And we're waiting for Mr. Mayotte, and there he is, Tim Mayotte, nicknamed the Gentleman of Tennis. He goes forward to take that famous trophy, which has, I think, almost every famous male tennis player's name on it. And being presented to Mr. Maurice Van Runts, the managing director of Stella Artois, the sponsors of the tournament, and to Mr. Sam Whitberg, the chairman. And in your picture there, Mr. Brian Palmer, the chairman of Queen's Club, who's put on such a great show this time. And who's to say that we're not looking perhaps at the winner of the coming Wimbledon? Certainly last year when Becker took this great trophy, he turned out to be the eventual winner, but nobody dared think so, except perhaps Johan Kriek, who was beaten by him in the final. He forecast that if he plays like that at Wimbledon, he'll win it.
Curiously enough, 4 out of the last 5 winners here, Dan, have gone on from winning Queens to win Wimbledon. So, as you say, who's to say that this man might not make it 5 out of 6? Well, it's a marvellous rehabilitation for Tim Mayotte, really, who was prevented earlier this year from defending his most important title to date, the Lipton's title at Boca West, because of injury. The injury sustained the week before at Philadelphia. And having come back so gloriously to full form so soon, he can thank Bill Drake, his coach, and his pals from New England, from Boston, Bob Green and Bud Schultz, who have worked so hard with him.
And as the Duchess of Gloucester has presented the trophy, paying her tribute to the ball girls. They really have done a really remarkable job here today. Once or twice slipped up today, but they've done a fine job through the heat of this week. Girls from Coloma Convent School at Croydon. So,
well, that's nice, Dan. He's going over to
he's
Bill
going
Drake.
across to his friends there.
A little kiss from his girlfriend, who's come over from the United States to support. Well, that is marvellous, and there she is. She's come all the way over from the United States to support him, and how pleased she will be that Team New England has triumphed. Well, now I hope any moment now that Harry Carpenter there will be able to have a word with the champion. Just waiting for the royal party to leave the court, I think. Brian Palmer, the club chairman, with the Duchess of Gloucester, just about to leave the court. Tournament director there, Clive Bernstein, marshalling the ball girls and having them led off the court now.
Well, congratulations to the Queen's Centenary winner, Tim Mayotte.
Thanks very much.
Now, I'm sure you're like us, you're feeling rather sad, I imagine, that it had to happen this way.
Well, it's just, it's really a strange feeling because you know, you're so involved in the match and you're on such a high, and then all of a sudden the match is over, and it's really, you know, it's too bad for both players and for the fans, and you know, I hope Jimmy gets better for Wimbledon.
When did you first become aware that Jimmy had some problems?
Well, actually, yesterday I was watching from up in the dressing room window, and he seemed to hold on to his groin a few times, and not that he does that otherwise, but it looked a little more severe than usual, and he sensed you know, I sensed that something was wrong, and then even today at the start, I saw him getting treatment this morning. But you know, I've seen him play some unbelievable matches when he's been injured, both at the U.S. Open and at other places. He can be more dangerous actually when he's hurting, and so I just tried to keep playing as well as I could play, and unfortunately, you know, he had the default.
But it must be a problem for a player when he knows the other man has got trouble. I mean, do you go for him, or do you let up a little bit? It's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to keep your concentration. You know, I found that out last year at Wimbledon, and I wasn't going to let it affect me again today.
Now, you've mentioned Wimbledon. Let me ask you, what do you think your chances are like at Wimbledon? Because this has been a wonderful warm-up for you, hasn't it? You've got some fans here, I tell you.
Well, if everybody defaults, I'm sure to go on to the finals anyway.
I think you could do it without a default. No, seriously, what do you think of your chances?
You know, I think this year's Wimbledon, it's wide open, which makes it the most exciting championships in years. I think that you know, any one of a dozen guys have a really good chance of taking the title, and no one's favored, and that's why it's going to be more fun than usual.
You've beaten the top 3 seeds here. Where do you think you might be seeded at Wimbledon?
I don't know. You never know what goes on over there in the dressing room at All England Club. So it's so hard to say. You know, I'm not sure what my ranking will go to, and then it's affected by the seating committee over there. So I'm sure they're stewing tonight. They'll be snowing tonight.
Now, what do you do between now and the start of Wimbledon?
I'll rest a little. I'm actually